Okay, guys, I'm back. Shauna with Infinity Readings here, trying to get these videos that didn't work off. Okay, so I'm on the Capricorn male in a coupled relationship. So this is what I'm going to be dipping into the energy field of. So this is going to be for the term over the winter. I'm in Canada, so that equates to November, December, January, February. 18 into 19. So this is the time period here where a lot of this stuff can come out. Now I have 5 different decks I'm dipping into to bring out any blocks that you may have in the relationship, hopefully help you see clear some options that you may have that you're not seeing at this point, or move you forward to the best possible scenario for your way forward, okay, in the relationship or out of it. Now again, male coupled relationship, I'm just going to start. The first card I get for the male Capricorn is the 3 of Wands. The 3 of Wands is about looking to the future, waiting for your ships to come in. There's something here we're holding out hope for in the future, okay? So we are feeling somewhat distant from that at this point, but nonetheless excited for things to come in the future. Next card I get is the 2 of Swords. Let me zone in on that a bit here. 2 of Swords is about indecision, or not being able to make a decision, or not being able to move or take movement on a decision. I feel a sense here of wanting to do something, but it's so far away that we can't take action on it at this point, is what I'm getting. But nonetheless, it's in our sights and our vision, okay? The next card I get is the Wheel. So Wheel is about fateful things that happen to us. Fateful turn of events, things that are great and wonderful, okay? So we're talking about the relationship here. I feel like it's either we're waiting on a job to come in or waiting on something outside of the relationship that is going to have a great bearing on it nonetheless to come forward, okay? And the fate is like we've got on switches here. We're going to be starting to cash in on some stuff that we've been waiting for. But nonetheless, I feel a sense of time needing to pass here before we can get out of this stalemate card. I feel like the stalemate is things that we know it's going to take some time in the future to get lined up, okay? But nonetheless, like our ships are coming, it's just taking a while. Then we have the Knight of Wands, which is interesting because that breaks up that energy. The Knight of Wands, man, he's action oriented. He wants to move and shake and go and be. He is not the fastest. He is the second fastest, but he has got focus on what it is he wants. So he's trying everything he can to get that in line. And I feel like, yeah, I feel like their relationship is like there's something outside of the relationship here that is kind of like a symptom of, man, it's like based on a job or something. Like we're waiting on something outside of the relationship to change our life, okay? That's really what I'm getting. It's like waiting on some kind of but there's a time here that's got to pass, it seems. Like maybe we're waiting on a job, but somebody's got it until they retire, and then they have to retire, and we get, that kind of a thing, and we can move in. There's something like that, a timing issue, but nonetheless, we're fired up and ready to go forward and take action. But I feel like there's a limited ability to do that. I mean, we're restrained from doing that. We want to do that, but we can't quite do it yet. Okay. So that's the first level of energies here. So we keep moving deeper into things, hopefully. Okay, the next card, the Sun card. So that's hugely awesome. The joy, happiness, things that are, and I'm getting a sense here that things that we're looking to in the future is really prominent to make us happy. These are things that we want. We're highly motivated to get. And once they happen, I mean, it'll just be things that make us happy. The next card we get is 21, the world. So the world is about completions of cycles, and I get a sense of that. Like this man is waiting on something in the future so that he can put a fresh foot forward, a new foot forward. Um, and I feel like that's the Knight of Wands energy. It's like I want to move forward, but he can't quite do it yet. But he sees it so close he can taste it, that kind of thing. And the world is about putting other things in our past to rest. Now, the world is also looking at the Sun card. So okay, they're saying what we need to take note of is our ability to be happy and stay happy within this. We know this is in the future. There may be some pitfalls along the way here, but we're going to get there, and we need to stay positive as we do that, as we keep going in that direction, because I feel like there's a sense here this Capricorn male can get very disappointed if there's any little pitfall that happens along the way, okay? The next card we get is the Fool, and that is again about that new direction he's moving off into. Now watch, because he's looking away from the joy, but nonetheless, it's the new direction and new energy, and he's going off excitedly, even a little bit naive, but they're going, we'll catch up on stuff as we go. Not a big deal. There's no huge pitfalls here that are hidden, okay? And then the next card we get is the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups is about nostalgia, thinking about the past fondly. There's a sense here that where this person is going, it's like it's going to be in direct contrast to where they've been. But not only that, it's almost like a sense of sadness of leaving where we were. That's the sense I'm getting here. Got a sense of sadness. Usually this is happy memories, and it is happy memories, but almost like we're moving to a job that's in a different area or a different field where we have to leave. Maybe we had great coworkers that we had like family, and we have to leave them now to go where truly makes us happy, but it's still going to be sad to leave those behind is what I'm getting. We're going in a completely new direction, and it's going to be sad to leave part of the stuff behind that we've built, okay? In an emotional way, very emotional for the Capricorn male. Interesting. Now we go into the Lenormand cards to break up the energy in between the love and sex zones here. First card we get is 43, the Maze, which is about confusion, back and forth, things that go back and forth. So if we're getting into relationships here, we may have been in a situation here where our marriage or our union had a little back and forth energy to it, okay? Nonetheless, in the beginning, I feel like we're okay. We're solid to a degree that we may even take each other for granted, but nonetheless, we're okay. But along the way here, there's some back and forth movement. So maybe some arguments, I don't know here. Okay, the next card I get is the 10, the Scythe. So that's about cutting away of things. So feeling like we had to cut something away in order to move forward productively is the sense I'm getting. And I feel like this was on his side. I feel like he very much had to ditch something, either a personality trait or something. I don't feel it was too far outside of the relationship, or I feel like it was a character trait within the relationship that he had to really cut away. Created a lot of confusion for the partner, but nonetheless was highlighted, okay, is what I sense. It's like, this is going to go, and the guy goes, okay, it's gone, and that's it. But during the time when they're figuring it out, there was a lot of confusion, created a lot of back and forth, okay? And then 16 is that star and that hope, right? Because we have hope going forward, and that's very much driving us. And not only that, is really guiding, like the North Star. They're going, there's something here this man's tapped into. He's just getting it all of a sudden. We're on a road here. We're just in the flow is what I'm getting. Next card is 25, the engagement card. So Some of you might have been just freshly engaged, newly engaged, or thinking of getting engaged over this time, where we are in a position here where maybe there was a time here where we're kind of moving from a light relationship into a more serious one. Okay, is the sense I'm getting, where we're going from the zone of light, not even lightly dating or seriously dating, to seriously, we got to either move in or make some kind of a commitment here. Because the 25 is about mergers and getting together. And I don't feel it so much. I mean, I feel there's a work aspect here, but it's kind of blank. I feel like for the relationship, I feel like there's a situation here where we've been through rough patches. I feel like there's been a few, and we realized what we needed to get rid of to create a more stability within the relationship. And I feel like this star is really it's bringing about the energy that yes, we are being guided as to what it was. We listened, and now it has created a better energy forward. And not only that, we're well on our way to solidifying the relationship in a commitment of a long term. Okay, period here. So I feel like, yeah, we're just kind of really flying over obstacles and creating new energy forward. So I feel like the Capricorn male's really come across some good energy here. He may not know he's tapping into universal energies and guiding by it, but that's what's going on. Okay. He's just tapped into it and following it. And so it's doing him good. Now, as we get into the romance areas, the first card we get is the 2, the High Priestess. And this is about knowledge, wisdom, secrets. I feel like this is his energy, strangely enough. I feel like he is tapping into, like I said, that universal energy that is guiding him and whispering in his ear, and he is just following it to the letter all of a sudden. But again, I don't think he knows that's what he's doing. I think he's just being driven, and he's driving from that force that's behind. And that's all that universal energy coming down and saying, do this, do that, do this. And suddenly everything's clearing up. And what do you know? There's somebody telling me this, so I'm going to have a constant source of this. Like, what's going on? This is kind of the realization I'm getting from the Capricorn in a coupled relationship. He's really, unlike the single, he's really tapping into his instinct, but again, not knowing what that is, but doesn't matter as long as he's following it. Next card I get is a Page of Swords. Sorry, that time of year, sniffles. Okay, so here we go. These are the pitfalls this man is going to be coming into or across over the winter season. This man is a page, and he is looking to his wisdom to one up him. Okay, so he's obviously done a lot here. I'm getting a sense that he's made a lot of action or made moves in the right ways here that have done him good. Okay, so this is going for him. But this page, he's about the truth and the clarity of situations, but always from a head-centered place, which is not a bad thing, but it's just showing the lack of heart here. We need to dig a little deeper in the heart-centered area because we're not understanding that to a high degree. And I feel like it's just foreign to this guy. He is trying to make logical decisions and clear communication, and that is a good first step. So I'll leave it at that. The next card we get is the Hierophant. So that is about the marriage. So are we thinking too logically about a marriage we're stepping into, or not logically enough, right? Because he's looking away. He's looking away from the Hierophant, which means one of two things. That's what they're telling me. One thing it can mean is that he is not using his logic in the marriage, but I do feel him gaining that instinct nonetheless, and that will kick in. Okay, they're going, what it is, yeah, he's learning to logically listen to instinct, but his heart-centered instinct is a little more forceful. They got to get through. They can't get through there. He's not wanting to implement the heart-centered place that he needs to come from. But nonetheless, this is going to be learned through the relationship, through the marriage, right? Because we have the white flower, the innocence. This man is innocent when he comes to his heart because he does not know quite how to use this, but he's going to learn. That's what they said. He's going to learn. And if he's listening to the instinct, man, that'll drive him in that direction. Next card we get the two. What was it? Didn't read it. Two of Wands. And that's about having a partner, meaning a friend, a close friend, could be same sex, different sex, but someone, a comrade that you share everything with. Okay. So there's this sense here that outside of the relationship, you have someone that you're very close to and you can share your thoughts with. And this is interesting because I'm getting a sense here that we unhook our heart for our friend, but for our partner, we don't quite know how to do that. We can be compassionate with our friend, but in our relationship, we have a reluctance to open that floodgate properly. You're going. And this man's not seeing that. He's not understanding that he gives his friends more than he gives his partner. So there's a sense of more trust there on a certain emotional level. He's not giving his partner. He's got to be aware of that so you can work on that, because you can ask your partner to help you to gain trust, right? What do you need me to do to gain that trust? And then you just walk into that. But there's a sense of naivety, and I feel like that's it may even be in relationships, period. Like taking a leap here that we are doing a lot of things on a lot of levels differently. We're just jumping in with both feet, everything, and everything's new and fresh and clean, and we don't know how to deal with it to a degree, right? We've never been this emotionally vulnerable with anyone, and we've never been this emotionally, we've got to dig deeper on the emotional center, but we've never been this vulnerable either in a truthful way in a relationship. So there's some people out here that are dealing with relationships that are just either the Capricorn male has never taken it as seriously as he is now, or just digging to a deeper level. This man has to dig to his heart, right, for this marriage. But nonetheless, having a friend that he can relay everything to, and they have a great trust, and they're going more so than the partner. So that needs to be worked on. So then as we get into the love cards here, the first card we get is the Ace of Pentacles, and that's about the newness here. I feel like in a physical manner, you two are very connected. I mean, that's what happens, right? But overall, you're feeling comfort levels physically, not a lot. I feel like if you're getting married or whatever, there is a sense of feeling newness in the bedroom for some reason. Because I don't feel like it's any other direction but your partner, but it's a solidness. So there might be a deep connection there that just makes you feel safe, right? Physically. Next card we get is the Devil. Now I have to look into this. And the Devil is about addiction. So we may have I don't feel there's anything outside here. Feel like within the relationship, we may have an addiction to the physical side of things. I didn't get it from that first card, but I'm going to move forward here. King of Cups. King of Cups is about someone who is emotionally sound and willing to give that outward. And I feel like this guy is not dipping into that emotional center as much, but I feel like he's got the wisdom of it, right? Because he's giving it to his friends. It's like there's a potential here to dip into that. We're just kind of reluctant to give all of it, even though there's really no indication as to why. But I feel like that's the devilish behavior here is, unwilling to give all those emotions to the partner for whatever reason, okay? The next card we get is the Knave of Swords. So the Knave of Swords on a physical level is about admiration of the physical body, okay? So we have a grooviness here of our partner's physical appearance, and we feel very very gravitated towards that. I feel like that may be one of the issues here that is a little bit on the obsessive side. We may be obsessed physically, partner, and not yet into the boundaries where we're giving emotionally. We're able to give physically, but not emotionally. That's what I'm feeling like. And even though the devil's there, I feel it's very light. I feel these are a lot of things that, yeah, there's more of an energy here to be able to communicate physically. Hmm. How do I word that? It's almost like this man is using physical sex as a way to communicate an emotional need or desire. Okay. So that's kind of how men react anyway. But to the higher degree of, this man feels very comfortable and secure physically, even if he is obsessively so. There's an emotional thing here. They're basically saying this man is capable of emotionally going outward, emotionally in ways other than the physical. But this is where, but he's obsessed somewhat from with his partner's physical attributes. I'll say that. There's maybe an overwhelming urge there to indulge more on the physical side and not balance. I feel it's an unbalancing rather than an over. And maybe just obsessed with the physical body here to a degree where we're not absorbing all of the rest of this person, okay, on an emotional level. We have the ability to do so, but we're not trying hard enough to get there. We're absorbing. And that's, I mean, this, some parts of the relationship, they just fade. I mean, you get into the physical side and you wear that out, and then and then you move into a more deeper emotional state. And I feel like that's what this guy is really tapping into. He's just taking advantage of that physical side, but nonetheless, that is going to cause problems if it isn't balanced out a little bit in the future. Not a heavy, but it's just a weakness of his. Okay, physical side. So it's not too bad. Nice clean slate on this. The couple dude has got his stuff a little more together. He's working on it, but at least he's above board. Okay. Sorry, I shouldn't bash anybody. So I went over, that's all horizontal lines. I'm going to go vertically and break it all apart here and see if we can illuminate some of the blocks. So Three of Wands was him looking forward to the future. There's a lot of good stuff here he's hoping and praying for, and that's what's making him happy. So that's the Sun, right? He's looking forward to the future, and we got to watch that we don't hang too much on the future, because they were giving me a sense, this guy, any little pitfall that comes in the way is really going to kind of devastate him and throw his carpet out from under him. But so be aware of that. Just expect some reality here to hit in certain areas, but nonetheless, we're looking forward to things and how they're going to go in the future, and that is keeping us pumped. And then the 43 we had come up, and that was about, we may be thinking about the future so much so that we're not dealing with the realities of the present. And I feel like there was a little bit of back and forth within the relationship, kind of symbolizing that there's some things here we needed to get over. Okay? Like things within a relationship, just kind of average everyday things within a relationship that you normally have to go through. And then the next card we get is the High Priestess. And that's talking about the wisdom that kicks in, right? Because you're creating havoc in the relationship. And I don't feel it was that highly, but there was problem spots, no less. And there was back and forth energy, almost like I'm not going to put up with this and I can't put up with that and this kind of stuff. And then the High Priestess is about that instinct coming in to fix things, right? We're having a higher sense of what we need to do, and we're tapping into that and making wise decisions from that. And then the Ace of Pentacles is about absorbing the energy of the partner and feeling very grounded, in a physical way. We feel very connected, not only connected, that's kind of a redundant word, talking about sex, connected. But yeah, grounded energy of feeling sturdy, stable, those kind of things, like the anchor, right? It's almost like that kind of a feeling. We feel just groovy in the bedroom. There's no hang-ups here per se, right? This man's, he's jiggy with it. She's jiggy. It's all good. Okay. Next row. I lose my words sometimes and they just don't give them back too easily. Okay, the Two of Swords. So this is about something that he's got going on here that's kind of blocking his views. Stalemate. Okay, this is the stalemate card. There's something here amongst all this good stuff that creates a bit of a not, I don't know what to do vibe, right? Or I don't know how to act or whatever. And it may be a result of some of that back and forth stuff, right? Unable to make some decisions, yet I see him making decisions and going forward. So the world is a symbol of completions, right? So, and also getting a sense here too that no matter where we may feel blocked or not able to make a decision, it's kind of like the sun is shining, so we will get it eventually, just may not see it. And when we feel driven, then we should go from that, which I feel he will. It's just a matter of a time period over this winter season, right? Where he's going to feel like he can't make a decision or can't do something he wants to do. Like there's other things that get in the way, but nonetheless, there's a cycle here trying to end itself, create a new beginning for this man forward. And then the scythe, right, is a symbol of we're needing to cut things away no matter. There's things that need to be cut. I don't feel like this is directly within the partnership. I feel like this is outside of the partnership, maybe even in a job area or something outside of the partnership. And behaviors within the partnership that needed to go as well, but not the partner itself. That's what I'm getting at. Then we have the Knave of Swords, which is about the area where this man is coming from. He's very much a thinker, an air sign, where we're going to be in our head a lot about a lot of this stuff. And in order to make decisions, we have to communicate outward. So that may be one of the blocks here. So I'm seeing highly. They're going, what needs to be cut is the fact he stays in his head and he doesn't communicate with the partner. That needs to be cut. We need to express more what's going on in our head so that our partner knows and opens that field up. Because otherwise, and they're going, this is really what the cutting is about. We need to get out of our head and communicate and get into the world of our partner. So very much, yeah, they're going, there's some men here that are very much in their head and they're not speaking towards a partner. So that's a little bit of a block there. Nonetheless, I don't think it's too huge. Like, and then the next card, or the last card on the sex side, is the Devil. I'm going to tune in here. They're connected. Yeah. There's something about the intimacy here as well. This man needs to communicate more with the partner. For some reason, they're telling me the partner needs to know what this man is thinking on an intimate level. Now, this man is full on obsessed. So I don't know why. It's almost like they're saying, hey there. It's almost like they're saying this man has to communicate how he feels physically. Maybe this woman doesn't feel like this man appreciates her sexually. The partner is not feeling that for some reason, because they're going, the man has to communicate. He's up in his head with the sex as well. What's going on? Yeah, there's something weird here. I gotta just give me a minute, guys. They're going, it has nothing to do with the truce here. Okay. So there, okay, I'm going to take these two cards right out. No, this card. Okay. So there's something about this man's, okay, we're breaking it down here. Here's a block. This man, in the relationships that he's been in, he's got a repetitious cycle here having to do with this physical, intimate side, okay? There's something about this man, okay, those who it'll hit, they'll get this. There's something about him being too quiet, and I'm not talking literally in the bedroom. I'm talking about it's almost like we don't talk about sex. We can't talk about sex. We don't want to discuss. It's like it's a taboo. And I'm getting a sense here that this man needs to open up about he has to start opening up about how he feels about his partner, because the partner's starting to get the wrong impression, meaning that the partner, because we don't want to talk about sex, we don't want to talk about intimacy, they're starting to think that we don't feel it. Okay, and it's not that this man don't feel it, because I'm getting a lot of that, but if we don't talk about it, how does the other person know? That's what they're trying to get across, and that's kind of this devil energy is really connected to that thought process, but not in, I gotta word this properly. This man is obsessed, but he feels like he has to repress anything that has to do with sex, cannot talk about it. And there may be one man this applies to, or many, where we don't deal with it, we don't discuss it. And that's kind of creating that devil energy. It's almost like he feels like he's bad when he engages in it, and therefore he doesn't want to talk about it. Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for coming in. So there's something here to do with a sense that this man is kind of putting sex in a box of evil. Okay, just bear with me here. I'm trying to figure this out as I go. And that in itself is creating a weird vibe in the bedroom, okay? And our partner's going to get the wrong idea. So we have to be a little more liberal with it. We have to open up a little more and deal with that on a different level. Yeah, this is a different energy field here I'm tapping into. So it's really almost like I'm not getting ashamed because this man is indulging forward, but it's almost like ashamed of, and this may be a belief system that we learned along the way here that we kind of have to lift. And the only way to lift it is to go through it, meaning discussing with the partner, because I get a sense here is what they're trying to do is to create, to not create this speed bump that it could cause in the relationship, meaning the partner is eventually going to get a sense here that because we don't want to talk about sex, we don't want to deal with sex, we can't discuss it, we can't, they're feeling that energy of what the male's going through, so they have to open up to some degree in order to get through that. So interesting. That's a little bit of a trip there, because that's where the devil energy, because I'm getting it's really light, but what it is a sense of guilt in engaging in sex, and then he's engaging in it, so it really is an addiction, but it's self-imposed because this man is putting sex in a box that it doesn't deserve, and that's the problem. And it's kind of like, this is my evil indulgence, but it's like, no, it's not evil. It's, he's got to see it for what it is. There's a big illusion around the sex act itself. So that's something that maybe if you're the partner of a Capricorn, that you can help them with. Yeah, and I don't feel like it's, I don't feel like the addiction is sex all the time. I feel like it's very indulged in, but when it's out of it, there's almost like a guilt feeling of indulging in it, or indulging the passions. So this man has to process that in some way, open up to his partner for one, and maybe we get counseling for two, because this is a deeper issue here. But nonetheless, that's where the devil energy comes from. It's darker energy, because we're putting a dark haze on the sex act, and we're putting it into a place. And then the partner feels that, and they don't understand it because it's not being allowed to be talked about, this kind of thing. So there's a potential pitfall there that we need to kind of go over. Yeah, different. Okay, so that's the second line going downward. So as we move into the third here, where did I go? Oh yeah, that came out of there. Okay, so as we go to the wheel and the change of fate from this guy, and I do feel like this man is going through a change of fate in his life. Things are going to start to go good. And I feel either way. If things were going good, they're going to get better. And if things were going bad, they're going to get good. Um, so that's the turning of the wheel here. And usually I say if things have been good, then they might change. But I get a sense for this guy, they're just all uphill. Okay. And then the Knight of Wands is about the fiery energy moving forward. This man is wanting to change his fate. He's wanting things to get better. So he's working actively to do so. He's going to actively go in that direction to help in any way he can. And a lot of this is hidden because it's instinctual, right? We're going forward instinctively and not even realizing that we're following a leader here, which is our instinct and pointing us in the right direction. Next card we get is the Fool, and that's about that new direction forward, right? We're charging forward, and we're not stopping long enough to let anybody collect any moss on these rocks, right? Because what's going on here is we are going to be out of our element because the fire, you're an earth. So that is one step out of your element there. And he is fired up and ready to go forward into a new future, a new energy, all of that. And then the Six of Cups is interesting because we got this man moving fiery in a new direction, but there's a connection to the past here that is sitting very heavy with him. Okay. So there's something here about his past. People, like I said, felt like there might even be people that he worked with that felt like family, or people that he had as friends that felt very much like family, but there's a sense of distance or moving away or in a new direction where we are going to be not as close with some people as we were, moving in this new direction, like a huge change here. So the Six of Cups is about nostalgia of the past. He's moving forward, but he's still got some connections to the past in a heart-centered way. Okay. Oh, now the next row. Yeah, I kind of zipped through that, didn't I? I screwed up the cards, but that's okay. The Hope. We're talking about hope and dream here. 16. I put 2 of the cards. Moving forward to, we hope that this new connection, this new marriage, if it's a marriage or an engagement or whatever, a merger, some sort, we're hoping the best for that way forward, right? And then the 5, which is about the marriage, the engagement, all of that. And there's a symbol of innocence here. So it may be for some, maybe their first marriage that they're walking into. So there's a sense of real virginity within it, right? I mean, we're talking about a white flower here on top of marriage. It's not literal virginity, but this is the first time this man is going to unite his life with someone else. So it's really got a certain energy to it of innocence. And then the two of Wands symbolizing that there's a partner, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's a close friend here that we're going to be kind of letting go of. We won't be able to engage as closely, and that's felt. Okay. So a friendship that this man has had for a long time with someone, that marriage is going to kind of create some distance there within that. Okay. And then these are all over the place. Then we have the King of Cups, which talks about the heart-centered place this man has the ability to come from. He can be deeply emotional. He is just kind of learning, the steps along the way. And I get a sense here too. It's just he's never had an opportunity to give of his heart in such a way. So he's kind of reluctant at this point, right? And then the last one is the Knave of Swords, which is, well, physically, we can give a lot to this relationship. I feel like the King of Cups, emotionally, we're going to have to learn as we go. And, those two kind of coincide. So I'm going to so those are the energies back and forth. I'm going to kind of go over this quickly. To kind of review here. Sorry, my cards are kind of mixed up. What's next? Well, this is all in the future of the Capricorn male, so to speak. So this is all kind of next. So I'm going to go over these again here and just see where we sit. Now, the first card we got was the Three of Wands. So he's looking towards the future, and the future is really making him happy, but also feeling like he's, there's a lot there that can be drawn from. It's not an illusion what he's looking at. There is happiness there, though the 43 bring in there's confusion within the relationship that had to be dealt with, and we used our instinct to get through that, and because of that, it has created more of a bond, or an ability for this man to bond physically. Okay, because the sense I'm getting here is that this man really does take his love out in a physical direction. So he's had the ability to do that with his partner, and it's because of the back and forth. They had some what do you call that? Some things to get over in the relationship, some bumps, speed bumps, and they've gotten through that, and it makes you feel more accepting for the partner, right? And then as we go into the world and its cycles, right? So this man may have some cycles that he has to realize about his way forward within relationships. And I feel like that's on a deeper physical area. I feel like this man has some realizations in the physical arena that he has to look at with his past partners and the one that he's with at the moment, because there's a cycle here that we may be repeating. And even though this is a permanent partner, we're still making mistakes on the physical side of things we're not quite realizing. And the Two of Swords is really about a few more things coming over the winter season. I feel like there's an inability here to understand or to make feel like a willingness to bend. We got to watch how we do that, because there's some behavior that needs to be cut away. And though I feel like this man has cut some behavior already to compromise, there's still more yet that needs to be done. And also the ability for this man to think logically is high, but we are not really dipping into our heart center as deeply as one would like, right? And then the devil sits on top of that energy of coming from the head, not so much the heart, and especially in the physical area. So you got to be aware of that. And then wheel, the fate, the new direction. Like I feel like it's super clean slate this guy is coming from. So he's really got a lot to look forward to, a lot to be excited about, and a lot that he wants to move into. And with that, part of that being the marriage. It's highly part of this man's dream to be, in a partnership as he has been, even though I think there's some things that are not what he expected. He's learning as he goes, but there's a high potential for him to be very emotionally engaged in this relationship. And then as we get into the last row here, the Knight of Wands, and that's that energy moving forward. This man is just charged to get his life. And I feel like once he does get into the new energy, like gets into feeling more solid and grounded, he's really going to be kind of out of his element for a while. More action oriented. He's just running forward and being propelled by things going right is the sense. Everything's going right, so I feel more energy, I feel more, and everything's just lining up. So it's all good. And then we get the Six of Cups, which is talking about the past. So there's a sense of a new life and then an old life, and the old life is really, there's a sense here of letting that go is sad. So it's kind of like we know we have to do it, and it's part of the process, and we don't want to not go, but it's still sad nonetheless. And then Two of Wands is about that connection to, and it may be, and sometimes there's a situation that happens with, single guys that move into the marriage area where we kind of just lose friendships because, it's like certain people just can't wash with that. I don't know. And that's kind of the sense I'm getting. It's like we can't be friends anymore because I'm married. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's the energy I'm getting. And then Knave of Swords is about the physical obsession with the partner. So we got to watch that. And the 25 is about the commitment that is made, right? That kind of changes. It feels like a lot of this is wrapped around the commitment that he makes to that other partner, to that partner. We make a commitment, and from there, everything just, it's got to get rid of my old life, and now I got a new life, and it's going to be married, and that's kind of that. So this man is really feeling, I don't know if it's that valid, feel like he's feeling those guys that feel like, oh, you're married, man, you're done. It's like over, everything's over. That's kind of the sense I get, but I don't feel like it's going to be as drastic as that may seem to the Capricorn male in the coupled, right? It's not going to be as drastic a change, but nonetheless, taking it hard in that way, in an emotional way. So that is the reading for the Capricorn male in a coupled relationship. He is very much directed here in a marriage way, and he figures his life is going to change, which it will, and he's prepared to work and charge forward in that. So that's good fresh energy for the Capricorn male. It sounds like a good way forward, so I wish you luck. And really, there just seems to be a lot of areas here in the physical side where we are maybe guilting ourselves for the sex act, and we just have to work on that over time to alleviate that. Maybe a belief system that we fed into at one point, and we just kind of have to loosen up on, or at least exchange communication with the partner, I think, is really what matters on the intimate side, communicating, because really what they were saying was that the partner might take offense to it down the road, so we don't want to do that, because what is not said can be a lot more powerful than what is said sometimes, so be aware of that. But anyway, that is that. So that is the reading for the male couple. Take care, you guys. Thanks for coming in. Have fun and be kind.